Welcome, one and all, friends and critics. Come on, you know who you are. Join me for the Brian Brawdy Show. Tired of being bulldozed by their BS? Well, there's some good news. You were born for the bumpy ride. So let's mortal up, bring your own bold, and go kick in some doors. Hello, and welcome back to What Brawdy Show. And I wanted to share with you, before we get to the phone number and to all of our segments for today, how excited I am to have you along for the ride. And one of the things the doctors are like, whoa, you have to be careful. It's not been a year since your last surgery. You can't be going back to a full-on schedule and this and that and everything else. But I got to tell you, the world we live in today, we get a little bit of a workout in, which for me is just called a tire out, right? I just get a little tire out in, and then I go, okay, what are we going to talk about in today's show? And there are so many things going on that you just don't even know where to pick. This could be an 8-hour show about all the mashugana that you and I are subject to in the world at large. But before we do this morning, let's go ahead and get to the phone number. Q1, please. The phone number, if you want to give us a holler, you'll be our first call in the new show back. Give us a holler at 1-412-5999. And Wayne wants to remind me to tell everybody, standard some kind of costs apply. So it's not a toll-free number, but it's 810-412-5999. And then again, give us a holler. You can jump in the show with us. We're going to have time today because we're doing a 30-minute show. We're going to have time to jump into mortalup.com. You can go to the brianbrawdy.com, or you can go to brianbrawdy.associates. A technical guru of all things internet and computers and creativity here at Brian Brawdy and Associates. Wayne has crafted the website that will allow people to nominate Mortal Up, that will allow people to nominate Low Life's Making Headlines. And to be honest with you, overnight we got more nominations in for Low Life's Making Headlines. Honestly, it writes itself. We could do an entire show just about Low Life's Making Headlines, and we'll get to that in a minute. But before we do, we'll go ahead and cue 2. Before we do, I got a quick question.
Wait a minute. Huh? No. I really want to know. What am I missing?
All right, what am I missing? Please help me out. And if you're welcome to text, you're welcome. It's also broadcast over on brianbrawdy.com and on our YouTube page as well. Leave us a comment there if you can help me answer this question. What's the run virus? I don't even think we're allowed to call it coronavirus anymore. I think the puppet masters say that they want it to be called COVID-19. Okay, so COVID-19, I get that it's scaring the crap out of everybody. Maybe that's what the run on toilet paper is for. But what am I missing? What's the run? Get the run on alcohol, rubbing alcohol, maybe some hydrogen peroxide. I get that. The masks, the this and that. But I don't get the toilet paper thing. Well, I don't understand why. Given everything going on in the world with the gas prices today, why aren't people out hoarding gasoline? Why isn't there lines of cars waiting, at your favorite stop and rob gas pump? Why aren't there cars waiting with 10-gallon red? I don't understand. So there's our segment. What am I missing? Why are all the people running over cleaning out the shelves of toilet paper do they get to go home and they look at their pyramid? Oh, pyramid scheme. I just thought of that. They get to look at their pyramids of stacked up toilet paper. How does that protect us? I don't understand. I think maybe for tomorrow I'll start the show off with some toilet paper wrapped around my head and go, I can't see. I can't drive. Maybe that's it. You get quarantining yourself in wrapped up toilet paper. At which point I think you'd probably want to get Charmin because it really is the softest tissue out there. Charmin, I get it. Mr. Whipple knew before any of the rest of us. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to jump to our Low Life's Making Headlines today, reminding you can call in if you want to, 810-412-5999. You'll be in the episode 460. Thank you all so very much for carrying me to the starting line of episode 460 through everything that we've been through together. Thank you very much. And so we'll get to now Low Life's Making Headlines, because this might take us the rest of the show. Now, normally when we do the Brian Brawdy Show, we'll start off, we'll give you the what am I missing, because I need help, right? I really... What am I missing is going to be segments where I'm just clueless. I don't understand what's going on, right? It's something you got to vent. You got to get it out of you. You got to get it off your chest. So we'll do Low Life's Making Headlines. And then when we get back to probably episode 4, 2.5 hours, we'll spend it on Mortal Up, because honestly, that's the thing that I'm most excited about. It's easy when you focus on the Low Life's Making Headlines going, man, we're in for a bumpy ride. But as we say at the Brian Brawdy Show, you were born for the bumpy ride. Right? So that's why we're encouraging people to go to the website, mortalup.com, and say, great, I'd like to nominate someone for the Mortal Up Award. And we've got graphic artists doing the logos for Mortal Up. The Mortal Up winner's crafted logo of the Mortal Up logo if you're the winner. So head on over to mortalup.com and you can nominate that human being that just brings their authentic vigor, brings the very marrow of their minds to confront whatever challenge squares its shoulders with them, right? So that's what we want with Mortal Up. In case we miss it, right? We can't find everything, but you might, as I say, Low Life's Making Headlines. There's so many of them, we won't even know what to do. But let's go ahead, we'll Q3, and we'll jump in to Low Life's Making Headlines.
Low Life's Making Headlines, or as we like to call it around here, brains that make your blood boil. Here's your brittle brain atop a balsa wood spine for today.
Okay, and I should probably mention that this can be a group award, right? It doesn't necessarily Low Life's Making Headlines. And for the people that nominated this particular group of brainiacs, which is what we'll focus on now. So there was a school board, I guess you would call them, like a housing association for school-age kids, right? Just people that get to command whatever it is that you're involved in, right? Which is why I always say big government doesn't live in Washington, D.C. Big government lives in little minds. They're everywhere. It's like everyone's worried about, you don't hoard toilet paper, I guess. But for the other folks that can make it through the day without all the drama, we don't need the homeowners association. We don't need, what did I call it the other day? The National Institutes of Hysteria. Or the World Hysteria, or the World Hype Organization. So in spite of all of that, today's Low Life's Making Headlines is a group of people, and this group of people is the school board in a particular town in Utah, the great state of Utah. I love Utah, to the state, so don't hold me to that. But this particular school board decided that it was okay, or at least the teachers that work for the school board decided, here's a big school dance. Everybody gets ready. Everyone's all excited. I guess you pick out a suit, you get a dress, you get your makeup done, you get your nails done, I guess, and you go to this dance. Well, there was a gentleman, a young man, who had been, I guess, made this young lady feel just at the dance, and this young boy who she's not particularly warmed to in their school days, let's just say it that way. This young boy, we're not going to mention their names because, that's not our intention with Low Life's Making Headlines, but this young boy isn't the low life. So for all the triggered, right, for all the outraged addicts that are going to see, all the outraged junkies that are going to email and says to the young girl, you can't say no to him, you have to say yes. So the boy gets up, right? Like if you see, like every boy, you're hanging out on the side of the gym. The girls are dancing, or they're hanging over there at the punch table, right? And right, an employee of this school board of some district in Utah, our ultimate Low Life Making Headlines, and says, "Oh no, time out, Missy. You can't say no. You don't have the right to go. Oh no, I'd rather not dance with you, because we're worried about Petunia's." Budding mental health on the Brian Brawdy Facebook page. According to the story, and I think we got this from Good Morning America, as a matter of fact, the video that's up on the page. Love the folks at Good Morning America. We got the story. The teacher says to the young lady, "Oh no, you have to say yes." And the little boy's like, "Yes, she has to dance with me." And the girl's mortified, right? If she says yes, great. If she says no, equally as great. But what happened
is that they were so worried about, we don't want our young people to handle rejection. Now, I'll throw you in a quick little personal story. You're also a 5999. Give us a holler. Let us know what you think. But here's my little personal aside. You may know I was at a basketball event not too long ago at a local school, and one of my younger sons, all I said was, put your hands up. Don't let them, right? As adults, we would go, well, don't let them drive into the paint. Don't give them a free pass to the net. You got to stand there, put your hands up, block, right? Make sure. So I'm telling them, hands up, hands up, hands up. And one of the moms sitting alongside the bleacher, the seats that they give you alongside on these sporting events, a mom says to me, "Oh, excuse me, didn't you get the memo?" And I'm thinking to myself, your hat, wear your sunglasses, put in earpieces, you like Audible, you love Audible, a book on tape. You put in your Audible and don't interact with people, right? Like it's like when you go to the zoo and they say, don't feed the animals. Well, my wife was like, oh, please don't interact. Move through these circles. So just don't talk to anyone. So moral of the story is, I broke the number one rule. I actually enveloped myself in a conversation, and this mom says, "Oh, didn't you get the memo?" And I'm like, "The memo? What's the memo?" "Oh, well, we don't want kids to have a bad experience playing basketball, so we don't encourage kids to put their hands up because we want everyone to have a good experience. We don't want anyone stealing the ball." Meanwhile, these kids that play basketball are driving up and down, slamming, jamming. It's amazing. At 6 years old, these kids can shoot like this. But ever the one woman says, thank you very much. I will absolutely mention that. So the other woman says, well, you didn't get the memo? You're not allowed to put your hands in the air. We want kids to have a great experience, so we don't want them having to deal with the rejection, right? The rejection of having a ball stolen. So, of course, I looked at the young woman to my right. I looked at the young woman to my left, and I said, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Well, they were both furious because I went against the memo and suggested that I said, look, I didn't read the memo because had I read the memo, I would have had signs printed for each hand that says, hands up, hands up. I'll block your view, right? Which is why I'm not allowed to talk to people in public. But I didn't get the memo. But I do have a question before you huff and walk away to another part of the bleachers, which is what I was rooting for anyways, right? Like that's why sometimes if I'm in public, I'm sitting on the bleacher, I'll give a good cough, right? So I just asked this question. Do you have a child that goes to chess camp? Well, yes, I do. And I go, okay, then I'm curious. Do you teach your child not to take the other kid's bishop? Is your child allowed to try to get checkmate? Or since you don't want anyone having a bad experience, you want everyone of the opponents on a chessboard? Well, I thought that was a great question, right? Well, that just started World War III. And then my wife sees the commotion from the other side, comes up and goes, what did I tell you about, right? Where's your sunglasses? Where are they? What did I tell you? Right? But here's the thing. Not unlike the young lady in Utah, or anyone, personal sense of winning causes another kid, another person, another individual, another group to have to deal with the fact that your winning means that they lost. Well, what's the scoop? Maybe this should have been the perfect, if it weren't Lowlifes making headlines, this would have been another perfect what am I missing segment. What am I missing? When you're teaching young people to play a game, which, is there a game out there? Let me know if you can text me or give us a call where you don't have a winner and a loser. Maybe solitaire. Well, no, you either beat the cards or the cards beat you. But in any event, the point I'm trying to make is if the young lady in Utah didn't want to dance with this guy, who was the lowlife making headlines teacher that decide? If you know the name, please don't send it to me because I'll blurt it out, right? You know me, no memory left. I'll forget it and that you told me don't say, and I'll blurt that name out. And it's not my purpose. It's not my intent to make an individual, unless they're a gaslighting politician. It's not my intent to make an individual. To get off telling a young lady, you can't say no. You don't have the right to say no because we're worried about hurting Muffin's feelings. Sparkles may never recover from your rejection. Which reminds me, a long time ago, I was doing a radio show with my friend Bill Hyde. And we were interviewing someone, my memory is, and Bill had asked him, he was such a young guy, and he was already a millionaire, I believe, and running a business and doing this and doing that. And Bill said, well, what would you say is the key to your success? And I've never forgotten this. And there's a ton of things I have forgotten, but I've never forgotten this. He said they were raising adults. And I thought, wow, what a great tagline. What a great perspective. What a great answer to life. You're not raising children. You're raising adults. And if you raise adults, then they get to be shut down. They get to be told no, right? They get to handle the rejection because it's in handling that rejection that you grow. And here, which, now that I think about it, doesn't matter whether she dug the guy or didn't dig the guy, right? When she says no, it means no. But no, here are the teachers. Oh, we don't want little, let's hope his name isn't Johnny, right? I'll get sued. We don't like little Carmine having to handle the rejection of being told no. What? It's like going outside at 20 below zero without a jacket and going, well, we don't like the idea of Mother Nature giving us frostbite. Where does that come from? Political correct crowd, right? The higher consciousness cabal, right? All these people that go, oh, well, you don't want to reject Johnny, so you have to do something that's against either your best interest or simply because you didn't want to. You have to do it. And apparently they made the poor young girl dance with this guy. I remember not too long ago at a martial arts, for my oldest son, a martial arts match where they had worked really hard for a lot of years to get to the black belt. And at the black belt ceremony, the black belts that came before you are in a big circle. Your belt is in the center of that circle, and you have to fight the black belts. It's for you to memorize. There's all kinds of physical things that you have to do. You work your butt off to get to this point. And a mom and somebody, I'll get in trouble for slamming moms in stands. I'm sure the outrage junkies will hit that. So let me just say it was a dad, right? Sure. It was a dad in the stands that said, well, I don't want them to have to fight the black belts to get to their black belt. Well, then I thought, isn't the whole thing about, and yes, I get the point, well, black belt, it's about determination, it's about dedication, it's about doing everything you have to do to achieve a goal. But if the goal is a black belt to make you good at being able to mix it up in life, what kind of message does it send if to get, but oh no, please, we'll just clear the paint. We won't put our hands up and try to block your layup, right? Oh, please, there's no 3-second rule for you. Just stay in the lane as long as you like. We'll just sit here with our hands in our shorts. Pockets is what I meant to say. We'll sit here with our hands in our pockets, right, and not block you. What is that teaching? If we're busy raising adults, which is what really makes me worry about our future from time to time, what happens when we say has signed off to do it this way? You don't have to fight to get your belt. They'll just, like the herd will part, like the sun on cloudy days, the clouds will part and the sun will shine right down, and you just go in, waddle in, whatever it is, you just go in to the center, get your black belts, and come back out. Then we'll allow the circle to shut, and right, everyone else will have to fight for theirs. Well, that's not what's made us the greatest people in the history of the planet. And I mean humans. I like the term humanhood, right? Some people don't like manhood. For taking the adversary out of adversity, right? And you can recognize these people. And when we have more time, this would be a perfect segue into Mortal Up, but we'll do it maybe in tomorrow's show. You can see these people that have a passion for predicament. Right? They look at struggle, they look at speed bumps as a lesson, not something to be avoided here in the labyrinth of life, right? The ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swerves, right? Just throwing yourselves. Teach this young man in Utah, What does it teach this young girls going after their black belts? What does it teach the young men and women playing basketball over here if they think every time they go, it's only what they want? It's only what they feel is right that matters. Nobody else will get in your way. Well, it seems to me they graduate from college and then they get hit in the face by life, where life goes, look, fate is going to target you at will. You've probably heard me say, if you followed the show along over the years, fate is a predator. Fate does everything it can to lay. We square our shoulders with fate and go, that's all you've got? That's what you're going to do to try to derail me from what it is that I've set is my passion? That's it? You're gonna remember that, what was the movie? Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, guys running cars across the country. Oh, Cannonball Run. Cannonball Run. And one of my favorite scenes from that movie was a huge bar fight. Captain Chaos, was it? Captain Chaos. But before this, Burt gets up and he's got two guys, and the guys that are picking on him, they've got like 11 guys. So Burt Reynolds goes, okay, let me see. There's 1, 2, there's 3 of us, right? Oh, and he was better at math than Brian Williams and the young lady from the New York Times, right? So he was better than them at math. So stick with me here. But he goes, okay, so we've got 3. And he counts his opposition. He counts the people going up against him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're some more guys. And I remembered that line all these years because that's the way you and I look at life. When life comes to malign us, when life comes to derail us, when fate decides, oh no, it's about time for me to smack you down, you and I go, oh, gee, sorry, fate. We tend to mortal up in these situations. When we target someone, why not target someone you're actually going to be able to affect, because it's not going to affect those of us that mortal up. Which, now that I look at the clock and think about it, what a great segment. That would, man, I don't know who writes this stuff, guys, but that would have been a great segment in the Mortal Up. So if, please, and I also want to hear, if something I said in the show, right, this would be the perfect place to insert my non-apology. If something, I think to myself, cancel culture, where are they when you need them? Did you see Brian Williams butcher that math on MSNBC? Talking about the cancel culture. In any event, if you're offended by anything I've said, fantastic. No charge. It's my attempt to thicken your skin. It's my attempt to suggest that thin skin, it's going to get you knocked down, which is why we say all the time, it's time to mortal up or be knocked down. Thank you to everyone at BrianBrawdy.Associates. Most certainly thank you to my good friend Wayne for all of his technical expertise, his creativity, all of that. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit us up on Facebook, where you're watching this live right now, perhaps, or maybe you're at BrianBrawdy.com. But leave us your comments. Don't forget to vote on a future Low Life's Making Headlines, a future Mortal Up, so we can focus on the good. Maybe what am I missing? Maybe you, like me, maybe you have an answer to what am I missing? Or you go, hey, Brian, did you hear about this? Then I'd be all over. 10 a.m. Eastern, right here, wherever here is, wherever you're catching the show. Thank you so very much for joining us.